Video.
Waiting to see. Does it slide? See it on here. I don't know if anyone's faster on Facebook. I don't know why it's not. It says live. I don't see it on Facebook. I just want to check real fast. It's there. On the city's page? Yep. All right. Mine's just a little bit. All right, we're ready.
Okay, good morning, everyone. This is the Kingsburg Downtown Business Improvement District Advisory Board meeting. Today is Tuesday, December 6th, and our start time for our meeting this morning is 8:05. We have a call to order. Jackie is here, Mr. myself, the Carpenter, Jan Hess, Sergeant, members absent would be Amanda Carrasco and Lauren Cooper. We are open for public comment at this time. We'll move on to item number 3, reports from the board members. Before we get to board members, we have a member of Kingsburg Police Department that has come in this morning that's going to give us a report on crime and businesses within our district.
Good morning, Lieutenant Pendley. With the fog moving in and colder weather, we're seeing an uptick in thefts, porch thefts, property crimes mainly. A lot of crime that we've experienced has been theft of from vehicles, people leaving items in their vehicles, purses and such. That's one sure way of getting your window smashed. Catalytic converter thefts as well, we can expect. We're addressing it by increasing patrol, especially during inclement weather, foggy weather. We have experienced some window smashes at businesses, particularly in the north side of town. So, anything else you can do? Any questions?
Because of this committee, any increase or decrease, or is it about the same as far as the downtown?
It's about the same. We haven't seen any significant increases or anything. It's things we've experienced in the past and we've dealt with in the past.
I had a merchant in Clovis asked me if the fact that we have alleys that are pretty well accessible, do we see any crime in the alleys type of thing? Because they had noticed a little increase during this time of year of just people going through trash and looking through stuff and all that, and so I didn't know if we noticed anything in the downtown area.
No, not as a result of alleys.
Okay.
We do get homeless occasionally. Transient individuals will dig through trash, but they're usually not the ones that are committing property crimes. They're individuals committing a lot of these crimes are coming in from out of town and targeting areas of Kingsburg. We're usually pretty good about staying on top of our probationers and parolees that are in our area. In fact, we just had a sweep last Friday, and we arrested, I think we arrested 6 felons that day, but we contacted a lot of our probationers, so they know we're aware of them.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh,
Is there any like good preventative measures that people can use
Oh,
to?
that's a good question, especially in businesses. What we've noticed is we've had, in the past, we've experienced, especially during Christmas time, we've had, purse snatches within, the businesses, like if people are pushing a shopping cart and they leave their purse in the shopping cart itself, people will grab it and take off. We've had people actually go into businesses and, go behind counters looking for purses as well. Those are areas, I mean, secure your property and keep an eye on your property, that's what, and stay vigilant. If you see anybody acting suspicious, by all means, call us. We like checking out people.
Good.
Thank you.
Other reports from members, board members. Speak of Friday. I know in my store, I didn't have a lot of traffic, but it was profitable. I had, sales that I didn't have prior to, that I wouldn't have stayed open those extra few hours. And I had a lot of people asking me, did you have folks through your store?
Yes, continually.
Good.
I was there till 8,
Mm-hmm.
and I had people constantly coming in.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think it's something that we should continue to, I don't know if we wanna do it quarterly, or if we wanna, if we wanna just do it like, I don't know what, if anybody wants to think about that, and what we wanna do, but I think it's something that we could educate the, public on, and it could be a fun thing. Fairly easy to do. Oh, yeah. Stay open.
We might even look at it on a monthly basis, and when there's a holiday within that month, just kind of, highlight that particular holiday type of thing. And, I think consistency, if we say it's gonna be the second Friday of every month type of thing, or second Friday of every quarter, whatever we decide on, I think consistency is what's gonna get people to mark it on their calendar and say, hey, let's go downtown, let's go eat downtown, and you can go shopping and look around. I was in June's store on that Friday, and there was a gal that, her family was having pizza at Casaro's, and she finished her pizza, and she came down and was in June's store and looking around, and then all of a sudden, the family, they finished and they came in and all that, so it turned into kind of a family thing. I think it's a good thing, and we need to kind of maybe educate people, maybe through social media, on what FICA actually is, because, that question was asked of me twice in your store, Leslie, we're here, but what's FICA mean, type of thing, and that's just, the Swedish, training of, people from out of
It's
town.
a Swedish coffee break.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what time of day, is that correct?
Right.
And then we could also, we can bend the rules a little bit, just a Swedish break, like in the summer, we do, in July it's lemonade, or, or something like that.
Iced coffee.
Iced coffee, yeah, things like that. Just to get people out, moving around.
Will the Swedish people get upset, June, if we do iced coffee instead of high coffee?
Not me.
That's all we gotta worry about. June said it was okay. Anyone else thoughts on that subject? We're good? Moving forward, that would be good. I thought it was a good thing. Didn't have a ton of people, but like I said, the people that came through actually shopped, which is not a normal thing when we do a nighttime event. So it was reports from me. We had spoke at our last meeting on the need to designate the job of social media management, possibly to an employee or an intern or something, and Abigail sent me, an email on how we would determine how we could hire someone, how we could fund that. And there's what is called an ABC test, and whether it's going to be an independent contractor or an employee, it's a legal test to apply for that, to make a determination on whether we could do it or not. And so there's a whole process to creating a city position for this. There's a whole lot of things, which is great for the employee, but I will forward this to you guys to read it after I read it, so that we can talk about it, because I need to digest it a lot. And then if we also wanted to talk to, and this is where it gets tricky, I don't know about if we can get an intern that we don't have to pay. That's my question to you, Abigail.
You guys could do it, like a city intern that we pay all our interns, we don't have, I mean, the police department might through, Fresno, State and their internship program, I'm not sure, but our interns, we don't have volunteer interns.
So the high school asked me, as Berman's Flowers, to hire someone. And I said, I don't have the room in my spot, I don't have a spot right now, and they're under 18. And I said, workman's comp jumps up and down, and they said, we pay all of that. So if they're willing to do that for Berman's Flowers, my question to them then was, and it was the lady in Cindy Schreiber, would they be willing to do it through their journalism department?
Yeah.
So she's looking into that.
Okay.
So it's not that we don't have the money to pay them, right? But it's also, are we gonna go through the whole, for me, are we gonna go through the whole process of finding an employee for them to stay for, and the city do a ton of work getting them all squared away, and then them leave 2 months into the gig? There's just, I look at it that kind of route. So I'm gonna forward this email to you guys so you can read what she sent me, and then, Cindy Schreiber told me she probably wouldn't be till they go back to school with finals and college prep for all of her students right now, crunch time, that she would have an answer for me about that. Is that something that we could do?
I could find out and ask, that's not really my jurisdiction over here, but, I could definitely find out.
Okay. Thoughts on that from anyone?
I like free.
I like free too, but.
We were gonna have high school kids volunteer to help with filing and stuff like that, so I'm not sure if it would be under the same type of thing, because that was fine, we haven't had any yet, but, I could find out.
I'm not opposed to the idea at all. I think it's a great idea. I think we need to, though, and maybe we need to have some type of workshop or something like that to have specific written guidelines, how it's going to work, what goes in, how, because we don't, I'll pick on you for an example. We don't want somebody an intern from the high school that happens to know you and Berman's Flowers, and all of a sudden, Berman's Flowers is posted, the first photo every single time it goes on social media, something, some type of guidelines because, we're working with somebody that doesn't have the knowledge of it, so it needs to be, I would think, written down so that it's, consistent, fair, and to what we want. Because if we have to lead them by the hand every single time there's a post, there's no need to have a person.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the point of a consultant, that the BID hires, just like the photographer and just like the website designer, you guys have your written, parameters, the BID hires them as a consultant, and then the city doesn't have to. We don't have to worry about our side of it.
So then, just put this in your hat to think of when we come back in January and we take action on this, because I'd like to take action in January. How much of our district funds are we willing to allocate to this? what's your, we spent a good chunk of our money on building a website, which is darn near up and running. And then the other thing is, so now the social media, which we all question.
Just a comment. Magnus and I are members of the Central Valley Brewers Guild, and the guild is, I don't know, 20 different breweries put together. We pay $250 a month for a social media guy at the guild, and his whole thing is he highlights one brewery every week, so that way it stays fair, everybody gets equal exposure. And if anybody has like an event or something going on, we can just tag the guild, and then he'll put it in their stories. Makes it super easy, it's very effective. It's cheap.
Sorry. You might want to define what your expectations for your social media is before you decide who's going to be doing it. Are you going to be an announcement page, or are you going to have a strategy and a narrative that's going to drive more people to downtown business and engage with the page? Because then you're going to want somebody who knows how to do a marketing strategy versus somebody who can just post on Instagram, Facebook. So you kind of want to define what you want your ROI to be on your social media, I think, and then you work backwards down who we're going to get that can fulfill that.
Yeah, that's kind of why I asked, how much money are we willing to allocate from our district? Because there's this way we can go where we're going, because it would basically just take the responsibility from Amanda, who's running a full-time business and raising a family, and, and like people tag her, and she has to get to it, to where we have a person that we're doing that to. Or if we want to really allocate some money from this district that everybody pays into to a true professional that we can say, hey, what can you do for us? That's kind of where so he's exactly reading my brain, but I'm not getting it out of my mouth. Which way you guys want to go?
I think the challenge we're gonna face is we don't have anywhere near enough money. I think we're gonna find that is incredibly expensive to hire a professional to do just social media. And I know, like Josh was saying, when you have a niche that you can do something like that works really well, but now you're talking, how many businesses?
158.
158 businesses that are in the district that we have to somehow coordinate with all of them, all of their social media needs. And that's more than a full-time job.
Well, and Josh said there's 20, 250, there's $5,000. That person's doing $5,000 a year for 20 businesses.
Is it $250 a month you pay?
250 a month, yeah.
It's $250 a month.
A month.
A month.
The whole guild pays, not.
The whole guild pays. Oh, okay, all right.
Individually, you guys pay $250.
The whole guild pays
Oh,
$250.
$250 a month.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood. I thought
When
it
you said
was
we, I thought you meant you, and I was like,
No.
ooh, there's no way I'm gonna get folks to jump on board with that.
We wouldn't do that either.
Because then you'd be paying $500 a month for us and them,
Right.
when I first heard that statement. Okay. Okay.
I think it's better than nothing, and I think if anything, it helps school students, because when you go to school and college and all these things, like, they want experience, but how are you supposed to get experience? So it kind of does us a favor, and it kind of does them a favor, and obviously ideal would be hire a professional, but we're just not in that situation, so take advantage of what we can get and see, I don't know, kids are good at that stuff.
I'm also going to, approach ag department, because I know that there's ag business, and those are highly motivated.
Those kids get after it.
Those kids, yes, those are highly motivated and very, smart, driven kids that could,
Just quick learners.
yeah.
I think what we're gonna find is that we gotta find a starting point. And I agree with Peyton that starting point is probably free right now.
Okay.
So we really know what we can do and what we want it to do. And that'll give us an opportunity to have figure out what we're trying to do.
What works and what doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. And then that gives us a way to build a scope to actually send it out to a bid. We can see.
But I still think we need to have the guidelines
Oh, 100%.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
first. That's gotta be first, because,
Well, that's any job, you don't just-
if you approached me and said, Steve, will you take this on and do it for free? I'm gonna say, take what on? Well, we want you to do this, this, and this. Well, we're talking about that over a cup of coffee or a cocktail. No, I wanna see written guidelines of, you know, this is the scope of
Yeah.
what we want done and how we want it done, type of thing. It's got to be, you know, it's got to be done in a kind of a precise manner.
So, I'm typewriting here notes as directive. So when we start to talk to folks, whoever that folks is, we have a directive that when we build it, how we want it built, and a scope of what we want built, expectations from that person that's handling it, and a report at our meetings.
Needs a job description and a policy, basically what we have to start with.
Yeah, we just have to decide,
Mhm.
what do we want? 3 posts a week, stories every day, like, that's just stuff we have to sit down and figure out what's actually worth it.
And how do they decide which posts get put up and which businesses get highlighted and all that? We do have 150 some businesses, we have to make sure all get their turn in the queue.
Do we want this person to be proactive and go into businesses and try to talk them into posting, people that are not currently using service in our district?
I mean,
With
I
one of
think
us
we
probably, if it was a young.
And ideally, yes, we have to give all of the members every opportunity we can possibly give them to participate, so we don't get the, you never post mine.
That's fair, and I think it'd be good, I mean, that's just a good skill to have, to walk in and talk to somebody and say, hey, this is who I am, this is what we're doing. Wow.
Like, you know, like that person and one of us to go in and encourage people to start, you know.
Even if just once a month, we can all take a month and go with them.
Leslie, I can work with you offline if you want, kind of building that policy and job description, so we can then bounce around with each other. I've got somebody that I know is willing to add some insight. So.
Would you? Okay.
I'll put them to work for you.
So we'll have that to review at our next meeting, and so we want that on the
Take
agenda.
action,
Yes.
an
Take
action
action.
item.
I will call Cindy
As
and
a potential action.
Amanda, and I'll call Cindy and Amanda at the high school and switch direction.
I think I agree with Steve, if we have to have that job description and a policy ahead of time, then the high school can say yes or no, if they're even capable of doing it, and then that gives us direction on where we need to
Where we
find
go to
money
next.
and where we go next, so, yeah.
So kind of feeding off of that other report thing at our last meeting, we had talked about, okay, let's go door to door, figure out what people want, what they don't want. So I kind of did that. I didn't talk to a million people, I probably talked to like 6, 7, 8 or so. Not 8, maybe 6 or 7. Anyway, one of the pieces of feedback I had received was, more consistency with our Instagram, like somebody who can just autopilot and do it all, where it's a little more complicated when it's one of us, because, I don't know, it's just, it's different, you know what I mean? It's one of us doing it, and it makes it not biased, but like, it's harder when I'm posting on Bella Rose and Bella Creamery and I'm sharing my own things. I feel kind of funny sometimes, like, oh, let me post me first, like, that's not my thought, but that's like, oh, look, I tagged myself, and then I just switched over to the other Instagram and shared whoever tags us. So that was one piece of feedback I had gotten, was having, the Instagram kind of managed by an outside person.
Yeah.
So, that was interesting, just to kind of reaffirm what we talked about.
Anything else?
Yes, so we talked about what the bid can do, or I asked people, Street Eats, what they thought, what else the bid can do. A lot of people, I don't think, like, know all that we have done, so I was trying to explain, like, well, like the website and Instagram and events, stuff like that, and that we're planning for next year, so that's why the feedback was so important. One man shared he would like to see some of the money allocated from the bid going kind of back into the community, maybe a scholarship fund for some students or something. That was an interesting idea. It kind of just seemed, the overall consensus was kind of just like more events and stuff, like just getting people here to do things. That was like the main thing that people are looking for, because it does, like Fika, like we just posted, like last minute, hey, we're doing this, and then people come. So I talked to him, and he said like the line dancing was good because it brought people down here. Street eats, someone said, one time it was good, like it's hit and miss. I think it just depends on the month, and sometimes when it's hot, it's just like that. So, good and useful feedback, I think, things that we can do to improve. Mostly people just want events to get people downtown, that they don't necessarily have to plan. People don't like to show up and move trailers and move. So, that seems to be the consensus I've gathered.
Okay, and I spoke with, some ladies that have businesses on Marion Street. And, both very kind, open to talking. In fact, they both said they were coming, but they probably had something come up this morning. They, after we spoke and we talked about, you know, what we're trying to do and all of that, they were like, again, educating, you know, hey, oh, okay, that makes a little more sense, oh, okay, you know, and there was some concern that on our holiday open house, that the trolley didn't stop near them, and I said, you know what, I was asked if we wanted a normal trolley route, I said yes, sorry, my bad,
Yeah.
you know, and we made that correction for Santa Lucia, to stop near the fire station, so we included our side streets. That was it, after there was a quick conversation of clarifying, so I think it is
There's a lot
just
of
outreach.
Yeah, and it was helpful to go see people's faces and talk to them, because I don't think half of them knew what I was there, but they're like, why is the ice cream girl here? One thing that someone had mentioned that I actually was like, that's a really good idea, just for transparency from us as a board, mentioned like maybe once or twice a year, an expense report going out so these people can see where the money is going, because he had mentioned, if you know where your money's going, you're more likely to be supportive, because you can tangibly see, oh, look, this is what I'm spending my money on, and mentioned, even if we have like a certain event budget, if he knows that's what it's going towards, he's more willing to later in the year throw more money into that budget to see it become something kind of thing. So I did like the idea of putting out maybe once or twice a year, hey, here's where our money has gone, which I think we do, but I don't know if people know where to find that stuff or access it, or if we do that. So that was, I thought, something that could just gain the trust of our businesses in our district and show them like, no, we're working for you. It's just been a lot of back office stuff this year. And next year, hopefully, we have.
There is, and also too in education, I'll speak to this, there is they don't understand how we can't just do it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a procedure. There's a procedure, and there are some rules that we can follow, and we have to follow, and I can't just say, hey, we're gonna do this, and we go do it. You know, so if
It
there,
has to be on the agenda, or
Has
else
to be on the
Abby
agenda.
gets
Has to-
really nervous.
yeah, it has to be voted on and all of that, so there's that. Did you go to any businesses that were professional service, like, insurance people or
No.
in financial? Okay. That section of our district, we really need to start touching, because some of them pay a good chunk of money to be here, and they don't, and they're not utilizing us at all.
Yeah.
And Kingsburg Insurance has started coming on board though a little bit. We've been doing a little social media posting for them, which is exciting. So we need to like educate everybody else in the district. It's from you guys, if you're sending it to the other guy, you guys need to send it to us.
Yeah, we're kind of quiet right now.
So,
On your report, the only thing I would say a definite no to is a scholarship. I think that's out of our scope of, you know, of what we're doing, you know, type of thing. It's to promote downtown, not to, create scholarships. You know, that would be, other than that, you know, there's some great ideas, in there. But I think.
We can offer internships to gain experience.
Yeah.
To help in that.
true.
Well, yeah, they need, and that kind of goes back to having an intern for us. Most of the time now, when you apply to things, they want at least 3 letters of rec, like, it's hard for a high school kid. A teacher, a coach, and who else?
Even if they came to, one meeting a quarter here and sat in and participated, we taught them how to do
Question, trolley has been mentioned. Did we vote to pay for the trolley for San Lucia Day?
no.
So
Is
you
that-
guys did, like, a couple months ago.
For
Okay.
San Lucia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not the parade. Council paid for the parade.
Okay, just during the day.
Yeah.
During the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And bringing that up in the trolley route, maybe when you guys decide, we should do the trolley route at that time also. Makes it easier for me and the driver also.
Okay.
So maybe in I'm jumping around, sorry. I know we had previously talked about tabling ladies' night discussion till January or so. Do we wanna maybe talk about that in January, or are we just gonna do FICA, or like, what does our first quarter of next year look like in terms of events?
That's something, Fika and Ladies Night Out can,
Yeah.
that can be one of our months, and I'm not the one to decide what month is the best, those of you in retail can, probably figure that out better than I, type of thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing is we need to talk to the chamber, because that, at one time, was a chamber event, and, are they willing to relinquish that or partner with us on that or whatever, and that would be their committee, system that they're in now to,
Do you
to
have
decide.
a ladies' night?
We don't currently, that was going to actually be swapped out with truck show, which now that's not happening, truck show's gonna be just part of the car show. Ladies' Night Out is technically one of our contracted with the city events to do. And calling it different things over the years to try to figure out what works best, whether it's open house or holiday kickoff and all those different things. So, yeah, we would, I don't see why the chamber wouldn't, partner with on putting something on, because we're always looking for something to do early in the year, because right now we have a gap until, car show in April, so.
I think it'd be helpful too, and I know Reggie, we had talked about this prior, if maybe in our January meeting, if we can get like a calendar of all the events throughout the year between Chamber, City, and then we can plug in our FICA Fridays or whatever events the bid wants to do, just so we start the year with like a clear direction of what we can expect, instead of just, now.
Yeah.
And we should have that, we're actually meeting next Tuesday, the chamber is, and that'll, be finalizing our schedule for next year, so.
So hopefully in January we can have that.
Yep, yeah, we'll have a
Do
calendar.
you have anything in March?
No.
March would be
What's the thing?
probably the first month that retail stores would be like back
Ready to swim.
and ready to swing for Ladies Night Out, which would be fine. If we did Fika in January, we did another Fika Friday in January. February, if we did some kind of sweetheart stroll or something, maybe,
We should do a St. Patrick's Day, you guys can make green beer. What's that?
yeah. We made Ladies Night around that.
Can I say something about Ladies Night Out? We spend so much money on that, and we get nothing in return, nothing.
And that's why the
And
chamber stopped doing it.
I decided that even if the whole town is Ladies Night Out, I'll just be closed that night. It is just such a bummer. And some people actually spend thousands of dollars on it. And, it just does not pay.
But it does bring people back later for us. I mean, that's my only thing is, it does bring the people back later. Not that night, though.
Well, one
Yeah.
year, I gave, I think, 10% off on anything they bought in the store that night. And then if they, during that next month, for 1 month, if they brought the receipt back, showing that they had purchased something, then they would get 10% off again. And it did not happen, nothing. And then one year we gave 30 items in a gift basket, and never saw the person that won it again. And it's just, we just feel like, I personally feel like it's a total waste of my time and money. One year, my son came and hung chandeliers.
Chandeliers, they were beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work, and my family says, don't you dare do it. They said, we will not help.
The hard thing with events like that is, it is a very big investment for the business, and feedback generally is that we at the Chamber have received is they never make that money back in the return business later. That's the general feedback. It is a fun event, and a lot of people come and hang out, and you can see our downtown, but it's on the backs of the merchants, what's happening.
And then our customers are all like, when are you gonna do that again? That was so much fun.
Yeah. I'm sure the restaurants do well with it. People still eat, you got to pay to eat, but.
I was having a thought though. Why don't we, I mean, we've talked about this a couple times, but for ladies' night or something, if give out a ticket or give out like a stamp on a receipt, maybe we could do a cross promote where you get, you know, a free beer, a happy hour like the next week or so, something like that, to bring people back in and also make sure, hey, in order to get something out of ladies' night, you gotta get something from the merchants, you know, or from the different retailers.
We did that one year, we had a raffle where you would,
Mm-hmm.
there was a card you would stamp at all the merchants, and it was kind of like a bingo card.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if I remember right, there wasn't much that came out of it.
It's not like visit everybody, buy something,
Yeah.
and.
Well, you gotta make a purchase, at least, I think a purchase at least $10 or something to get the stamp.
Yeah, if you're buying something at a different retailer downtown, then I'll give you a beer, like,
Yeah.
Good ideas, yeah.
I'm sure.
I think in years past, they've sold tickets as well to offset costs, but, we can do that.
Well,
Well, the
I think
chamber
everybody
events.
paid,
Oh, the chamber.
the participants paid $10, I think, and they got a tote bag with it, and,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Not worth it.
I think even if we don't do necessarily the ladies' night out, between January and June, was that always in June, the Watermelon Festival?
No,
July.
July.
It was the last Saturday in July.
Well, then through June or July. You could do Fika, Sweetheart, St. Patrick, Car Show, Swedish. June, you could do something for all the seniors graduating, some kind of green and gold walk downtown or whatever, and then Watermelon in July. And then that kind of gives you a lull until holiday season for everyone to recoup and,
Well, we have 6 weeks of band concerts and farmers market in June and July,
yeah.
and 4th of July. And we can't do Watermelon Festival because the health department won't let us. That's the only downside.
Not to mention, you need a legion of like 150 people to clean up
Oh,
afterwards.
yeah, it's a giant mess.
It is a huge,
That sounds so fun.
it was a lot of fun. And
Huh.
God bless the Lions clubs that did it for 100 years. God
No,
bless them.
It was not fun.
But it was not fun.
Well,
I was
because
chairman
you
for
could do a
20
spin on
years.
it. It doesn't have to be the same. Everyone could do like watermelon ice cream, or watermelon beer,
Mhm.
watermelon colored bog bags, or
Yeah. Okay.
Well, many things like that. The Lions Club stopped the Watermelon Festival, and that was before the health department, you know, because we used to invest somewhere between $70,000 and $90,000 putting it on. Prizes, watermelons, you know, equipment and all that, that was our cost. I used to spend $25,000 a year on stuffed animals for the bingo booths. We used to net 50, when I started, we netted somewhere between 50 and 55,000 net profits for the Lions Club. And last year we did it, we netted $3,400, and I told the board, I said, I'm out, we're done. That's too big of an investment to invest $70,000 and return $3,400. I'm out. It's just not worth it, type of thing. So we stopped.
So don't do it like that.
If you could figure out how to do it,
Well, maybe we can do something, where,
Or like a
when
restaurant.
Del Monte was in
retailer.
town, I tried to promote a Del Monte week where restaurants would give you a clean peach, with your meal type of thing, and merchants would have cases of Del Monte, that you could sign up for giveaways type of thing, and all that, and the banks used to decorate, the Bank of America, because I did it, with a peach ladder and cases of fruit and all that type of thing, so maybe we can do some type of promotion for, maybe not just watermelon, but fruit,
Stone fruit in the summer would be nice,
Yeah,
with all the farmers.
anyway, moving on.
okay,
Christmas.
Christmas.
Christmas, I got phone calls thinking that, the bid was in charge. I heard, we've had problems with sound system for both the tree lighting and the Swedish, Santa Lucia. Is that a true statement? I wasn't nodded either of those. And is the chamber aware of that there is a major problem with that? Okay. And I don't know if that's something that is gonna be addressed, or,
Best way I could put it is you get what you pay for.
okay?
And nobody's willing to pay for anything for maintenance or any of that kind of stuff, so we're, where we're at with it. Sound system works fine as long as the people operating it at the time operate it properly. Randy has a tendency to yell into a microphone, and that's where the sound system goes haywire. The sound system downtown was designed for background music. It was designed for. It wasn't designed for announcing. It wasn't designed to be louder than, be able to talk over all the other noise that's going on down there. It just doesn't put out that much sound.
And why are we doing it?
I didn't want it to go to the sound system. I said, just use the announcing booth, but then we got a bunch of backlash that it didn't make sense, and people couldn't tell what was going on. So we went to the Wreatley Parade and learned a few things there. They have 3 announcing booths throughout their route, and they announce at each one of the announcing booths directly with just the sound system that's right there. And I think that's what we're gonna do going forward for all of our parades. Because it doesn't make sense if you're sitting 4 blocks that direction and you hear the announcement of the thing coming by right here anyways. So why not have an announcer at each block?
How long is their parade?
The parade, well, it runs from right there at the high school down to just past, New Mullen.
Oh, wow.
So it's, what, 5 blocks?
Mhm.
It's probably not much longer than ours from the surface area that it covers.
Wow.
But their parade, huge. A lot of participation, had a lot of people there. They had a lot of food vendors. Yeah, it was well done. So from a sound system standpoint, there's plans to do it differently,
Okay.
because it's just not gonna work the way everybody wants it to work.
Other thing I like to talk about is trees. I have been raked over the coals
Yep.
because the trees, that I have disappointed this town, because the trees weren't decorated. I think the minutes will show I made the announcement in October, and I was not gonna do the trees. And it hurts, it really hurts me that I bet 15 people have approached me, chewing me out because the trees aren't done. Why haven't the trees been done? One person said, we'll pay you to do the trees. And I
Somebody
said,
offered,
I'm
that's
done.
impressive.
I got a couple calls for people paying me to do them.
I get phone calls from the
Individual.
city, I get phone calls from the city asking why I haven't taken care of them.
From the city.
I had individual people on their corners call me and say, we'll pay you to do our corner.
As far as
Like, I can't do a corner.
As far as I'm concerned, if there's not a sustainability plan put together for the Christmas trees on the corner, my business is not the sustainability plan. Steve's time and your efforts are not the sustainability plan. Somebody needs to come up with where this money is gonna come from. And if there's businesses that are willing to sponsor every corner, that's great, but the sponsor request has to be enough to cover the expenses and the time that goes into it. There's a fine line between giving back to the community and volunteering your time, which I think we've all done a very good job of over the years. But there comes a point where you're like, okay, now you're just taking advantage of us. And I think that's, I don't know, I can't speak for Steve, but I know that's where I kind of landed moving into it this year. It was that every year, it was, why isn't this done? Why is this not working? Go out and fix it. Okay, well, who's gonna help pay for it? That's the problem.
This year, I do not have the time. I did not have the time to help.
We got them plugged in, and that's about all I have.
So,
So can we, once again, maybe January's not time, but February at our meeting, put it on the agenda that we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about the condition of the trees, we're gonna talk about the electrical to the flower beds, we're gonna talk about the lights on the trees, decorations, and then figure out a budget, and then go to, some of these people that have volunteered to give money, you know. Neil was gonna do some of the decorating. I told him I had a whole bunch of that netting left over that I paid for from the previous year, and he said, well, I don't wanna use netting this year, I wanna use, you know, actual bulbs, you know, like real Christmas trees out, and you know, but you can't plan that, and I think Neil realized you can't plan that the third week in November and order it and get it in and get it up and get it done type of thing. You know, we need to start planning this in February or March, as you well know,
well, I
you
need to know
know.
in January, the end of January, so I could buy at wholesale for the city. If it's gonna run through the bid, if we're gonna pay for it, I need to have an idea what we wanna do before I go to gift shows.
So, you know, it's one of those things, or we need to find the vendor and be able to order it, you know, in the spring for the, I mean, we need a plan for this thing a little bit better than what we did. And I don't mind being on the planning end of it. I just, like I told you in October, I'm just done climbing the ladder. I can't, I just won't do it anymore, type of thing.
I think one part of the problem is the trees need to go up earlier. Because once that weekend hits, all of us are running, it's fourth quarter. And I know it's whatever,
They
you know.
did go up 2 weeks earlier this year than
Did they?
they have, yes.
Okay.
They were up by Veterans Day, which normally is like the week of Thanksgiving or the weekend before Thanksgiving.
They put them up the same time they put up the tree, usually, the big trees,
Yeah.
the week of
Public
Thanksgiving.
Works has to, they have a process too, where they have to clean it up and get it ready and have staff time to put them up.
Coordinate.
The only tree that has any decorations is Casaro's Pizza, and that's because they never came off the trees, and the city knew, well, that's where these trees go in front of, you know. But I think it's sad, you know, but it's too late this year, you know, it's just like, let's move on, but let's start planning on it early. So we have a plan. Leslie and I can check on costs, because trees, we need to look at, do we want to do the corner down by Suncrest and over there, those two corners at least? If so, then what's it gonna take to get electricity there, type of thing? You know, it's just,
So for February agenda, can you come up with costs by February? I mean, I know we can't hold you to it because things are like,
Who knows?
Yeah. But
No, I can
starting
put a
point-
budget, I can get a budget.
and I can come up with a budget for the other end of it.
Mhm. Some years we get lucky, we plug everything in and it all works. And other years, we have to replace 3 or 4 controllers, and, you know, they're $1,500 each, so.
In your budget, can you include those two corners there?
But something tells me that if we would come up with a partnership for some of these corners, i.e. the library corner, I think Apple Tech, I can speak for them, would partner with, West America, if they knew early enough, there might be, you know, some money there. We know Gold Standard would put in, type of thing. You know, but you can't, like I said, you can't hit them up in middle of November and expect a check, you know? And Alex used to send out sponsorship things, but it was always kind of last minute type of thing, and I think we need to be
I
prepared.
think July, Christmas in July. Hey, it's Christmas in July.
And that way we can get a sign put together that we can put in there saying it's sponsored by, this corner sponsored by so-and-so, or, you know, what have you, so.
So the BID meeting in February would be February 7th for like budgets and stuff, if you guys want it in the packet. If you could send it to me by February 1st. Is that enough time?
So do we need to figure this out for the January one? Because we have to set our budget that we have to take action on a budget to send to you.
January 3rd would be,
So we're gonna have this ready for
Bye.
the January one.
so that would actually be, because I'm off the week of after Christmas. So if I'm posting an agenda, it would be, December 21st, it'd be a Wednesday.
Do my budget by December 21st?
If you guys want it, I could upload it later on, but I'm gonna do the agenda and post it on the website December 21st, because I'm off until the week.
2 weeks from now.
Do we have to do the agenda of a budget in January?
No.
Thank you.
I'm saying if you guys want it, you know, to look at, if you want it on the budget, on the agenda for you guys to vote, then it's good to have it on the packet so other businesses could look at it and see. But I could upload it anytime after I come back.
I would say it's gonna be tough for us to do a budget until we get some numbers, so as far as but what I'd love for January, so that we have in our mind, like, our projected balance that we have starting the year, if there is any money left, and what is our projected income for the year. If we knew those numbers, then when we do the budget in February, we have just in our mind, we've got a better idea of like, okay, these are the numbers we have to work with.
Yeah. So the city does, fiscal year July 1st to June 30th. So we could show what has been brought in so far and what the past years have been.
Okay.
Well, we're dwindling here, so. Any other business, folks?
Well, I mean, we had Gilgrim's Fest, that went well, we had a really good crowd, for that, weather cooperated. It was actually warm, almost bundled up, pretending it's winter. And then we had, Santa Lucia, another thing the chamber learned this year is we're never canceling anything. If it's supposed to snow, I don't care, you can show up in the snow.
There you go.
Because you can't win with the weather forecasts around here. But we did still do the parade, when Fresno, Clovis, Selma, a lot of other places canceled theirs, so, I was pretty proud that we still had ours, and we had a great turnout. It was a really good parade, so,
Annual dinner coming up?
yes.
Well, how can we help you folks with that?
We still get nominations.
I'm gonna ask you, I don't think that we in our social media have posted that you need nominations, have we?
I don't know if we have. You know, the city has, the city put it in the Carrier.
Uh-huh.
I know I saw it there. I feel like it got shared, maybe it was just in the story.
When's the deadlines for this?
Whenever we have them, at this point, because we don't even have them. Ideally, we would have them already, because it takes time to get trophies made and all that, but.
Used to be, deadline was, like January 10th.
So when is it?
It's January, it's the third Thursday, let me look here, I think, January 20, actually, no, I take that back, it's the 26th, it's actually the 26th this year. So it's the fourth Thursday.
So if Barbara can
I'll push that over to you guys.
push that over to us so that we can help you promote that, especially within the district. I mean, districts should be looking at other businesses that are
We'll be able to
hustling.
come up with businesses of the year without a problem out here, so.
Okay. Do you need any help with dinner then? You guys are good?
I think we're good on the dinner side, probably more just promotion, getting people to buy tickets,
Okay.
getting them to show up to it. But it's kind of a big deal, so it'd be great if people were there.
All right. Great. Anything else from anyone? Ms. June? All right, then we are going to adjourn at 9 o'clock.